Hello there and welcome to Flatbread Friday. Fall is on the way, and to celebrate that, today we're going to make a smoky bacon and apple flatbread with some fresh sage from my garden. And let's do it. I'm going to start by shredding our smoked Gruyere. Did I say Gouda in the intro? I don't know, but it's Gruyere, and it's going to be going into our fun little hand crank grater. Here we go. Here it comes. We'll keep going until it's all done. Here's our shredded smoked Gruyere. We're going to set that aside for when we build our pizza. You probably have recalled from the past, and not too far past, I just did a recipe with caramelized onions, but I love caramelized onions. So our apple bacon pizza flatbread is going to have some caramelized onions on it. So I'm going to slice this first, and then we're going to get them in the pan because they take a long time. Thin as I can get them. And we will continue on. I've already pre-cooked our bacon, so to maintain the baconiness of, this is going to be our base for our pizza, and we're going to, well, this isn't going to be our base for our pizza, but we're going to use bacon grease for that too. And as soon as this is sizzly, our onions will go. Okay, melted and shimmery, and now in comes our onions. I have it on medium heat to get them started, but pretty soon we'll be going down to medium-low because caramelized onions gotta go low and slow. A little salt and pepper to season these babies, and let's let them cook down. Apparently I lost track of what I was doing when I was putting in the onions, but this is going to be the base for our flatbread, our apple bacon flatbread, and the base is going to be a Dijon bechamel sauce. So we're going to start with bacon fat, and here we go. This fat is melted, and a little salt and pepper, and a little bit of nutmeg. I like nutmeg in my creamy sauces. Stir that in, and when it gets a little bit hotter, we're going to create a roux for our sauce. Oh, sounds like something's ready. It's time for our flour to make our roux. I'm going to go for a fairly thick roux this time because if this sauce is too gravy-ish, it's going to just roll off the pizza, off the flatbread, especially since there's no edges. So I'm going for thickness. Let's stir this up till it's well incorporated. I think I'm going to add a little bit more. That ought to do. Our roux is nice and smooth. In comes some half and half. If I can get it open. Did it. Let's try this much. We gotta move this around so it's incorporates well. We may have to whisk, but let's see. Our base is extraordinarily thick. I'm gonna thin it out with a little bit of chicken stock to give it some flavor. Gonna whisk that in. I need a little bit more. I think that will do. Spreadable, like a good flatbread base should be. The last thing we're going to do before we set this aside to cool is add some Dijon mustard. And we're going to whisk that in too. And that is going to make a nice base for our apple bacon flatbread. We cut it down the middle and then cut out the seeds and the tough part. Get rid of what we don't want, and then we're gonna slice this up nice and thin. Here we go. And because we're not gonna cook these ahead of time, we're gonna cut them nice and thin. Like that. Mix them up, and that'll work. We are now ready to build our bacon apple flatbread. And the first thing that's going on, obviously, is our base. Let's spread that around and see if we need some more, or if we need to scrape some of it off. Our sauce is on and spread around, and on comes our cheese. Smoky and nutty, and it's gonna be real good with these toppings. Our cheese is on. Next thing go on are our apples. I'm gonna try to arrange them in a pretty pattern. So let's see how that goes. Our apples are down. I had a bunch left over, so I'm gonna have to find out something else to do with those. Next comes our onions. I didn't show you the onions, and they're caramelized. As usual, shrunk down to nothing. Round, very soft. And we're gonna have to really stretch these out because I should have used a whole onion instead of a half, but that's okay, this will be fine. Here's our cooked bacon. We're just gonna break this up into pretty big pieces. Scatter it all over the top of our other toppings. Our bacon is on, and I had a thought while I was putting the bacon on, because that was where I was gonna stop. But I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna, for a little sharpness and a little bit of color, I'm gonna just sprinkle a very light layer of cheddar over top of this. Cheddar goes with bacon, cheddar goes with apples. And I know we have other cheese, but that smokiness is gonna be in there, and the nuttiness of the Gruyere, and mixed with the sharpness and the color of the cheddar, it's gonna be good. And now we're ready to go into the oven, 15 minutes or so at 425 degrees. Our apple bacon flatbread is out of the oven, crispy and smelling amazing. And now we're gonna slice it up and serve it. Here's our apple bacon flatbread on a plate and ready to serve it up. If it tastes as good as it smells, it's gonna be real good. We're gonna garnish it with a little finely chopped fresh sage from my garden. Sage is pretty strong, so I'm just using a very light sprinkle. And here we are, ready to serve. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Flatbread Friday. And while we played with our apples and sage and bacon and smoked Gruyere, and it's gonna be crispy and crunchy and sweet and smoky, and let's take a bite. So yummy. Never in my life, I've done plenty of savory things with apples, but never in my life have I put apples on a flatbread or a pizza. And I'm glad I did, and I'm gonna do it again, and we'll see you soon.